This is Danny Meyer, and I am so honored that Andre and Rita invited me to kick off this incredible 60th anniversary of one of the greatest restaurants that this country has ever seen, La Caravelle. This is a restaurant that has deep meaning to me, and I'm going to just give you a couple quick stories, and then I'm going to turn it over to the great Kate Crater, who you all know. Restaurants are families. This is a family. Look at how many people on this call proudly call themselves members of the La Caravelle family. Restaurants are communities. This is a restaurant that changed New York. And I think restaurants are stories. There are so many stories that those of us who work in restaurants know about, but there are many, many stories we don't know about. They took place at our restaurants, but we never even knew those stories were happening and those memories were being created. I have many of those from La Caravelle. I'm just going to share two or three of them with you in the interest of what we all came here to do, which is to toast this incredible restaurant and these incredible patrons who carried on the stewardship of this restaurant in such remarkable fashion. And what a great thing it is to have something to be cheerful about in this time. This is a restaurant that brought cheer to so many people, and it's doing it again tonight, and I'm grateful for that. I used to go to La Caravelle on dates, and as a matter of fact, I sealed a pretty good business arrangement with my wife Audrey when we would have dates at La Caravelle.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, we probably had three of them there, and one of them that was incredibly painful, but I did not want to give up my reservation. I just had foot surgery, and Andre permitted me to put my foot up on a banquette and actually take up two tables when there were only two of us there. So I did my best to order an especially expensive bottle of wine that night, which was not very hard to do on that wine list, I might add. Another time that I remember going to La Caravelle, a story that you probably wouldn't know about, unwittingly, I might add. I already knew this gentleman named Michael Romano, who was your new chef, because he and I had worked in a kitchen together at a restaurant called Pesca, a seafood restaurant that was on 22nd Street. And we were working together back in 1984 and early 1985. And Michael was clearly interested in landing a position in one of the great Midtown French restaurants. During that year, 1984, I had become very, very friendly with a guy who I was taking wine classes with, who was a stringer who had just left the Hartford Courant, and he was moving to New York, and his name was Brian Miller. And Brian called me one day and he said, you know, I might be landing this post as a little column in the New York Times called Diner's Journal. Would you like to join me on a visit to a restaurant? And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So I get a call. He said, I can't tell you where we're going just yet, but I get a call that afternoon. We're going to La Caravelle. And Michael Romano is in the kitchen. And Michael's a guy I know. And Brian Miller, unbeknownst to me, is actually in the process of interviewing to become the restaurant critic of the New York Times. And now I'm in a position where I'm like, shit, I know the guy in the kitchen. I can't be part of this table here. What am I going to do? Well, it all worked out pretty well. The other story that you probably wouldn't know is that I promise you, I am the only person in the history of La Caravelle that conducted an employee review on one of your banquettes.
Really?
I didn't know you're not supposed to do that over a couple bottles of good wine at the restaurant. And that was our old partner at Union Square Cafe, Paul Bowles-Bevan, who you probably know.
Sure.
Paul was our partner for many, many years. And I knew it was going to be a really good review. And I figured, why wouldn't we want to do it somewhere nice? So the two of us are side by side on the banquette, everything except our hand on each other's thighs while I'm coaching him and telling him all the things he was doing great and maybe the two things out of 100 that he could have done a little bit better. But the food, the style, and I have to emphasize that word style. There has not been a restaurant since La Caravelle that has actually brought that level of style and taste to New York City. And I am so grateful to you, all of you who made that story happen of La Caravelle. And I'm incredibly grateful for how you continue to be the best ambassadors for the New York restaurant scene in all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much,
Thank you
Danny.
very much.
Cheers.
And now it's my great pleasure to welcome someone you all know, Kate Crater, who is the food editor of Bloomberg Pursuits.
Thank you, Danny. I have to say, there is never a better room to be in than the room that Danny Meyer's in almost any night of the year, except tonight. Tonight, it is so fantastically wonderful to be here to celebrate La Caravelle Sweet60. I have lived a lot of my life in restaurants at this point, but there is one restaurant that is the most important one, I think, in my life, and that is La Caravelle. I feel like I grew up with it. Literally, as a child of New York City, it represented this sort of fairy tale dining room when we just went out for special occasions, my family. It really was like a palace where the duck skin was so crisp and the potatoes were golden and the copper was gleaming. But it was extra special because once upon a time, my father was a camp counselor at the Catskills, and there was a chef one summer who came from France, and he made fantastic soups, and the food was like extraordinary, much better than usual. And his name was Roger Fesseguet. And halfway through the summer, he got fired because he was using too much butter and the cost of the food was too high. So he had to go and the food got much worse. But my father remembered that food and he kept track of him. And when Roger Fesseguet ended up at La Caravelle, my dad would take us whenever we could go. And we would always talk about how buttery the dishes were in a good way. And it always just felt like the most special place in the world. And how wonderful for me a few years later to become great friends with Rita and Andre and make a connection to the people who made that place so magical for me for so long. And really, like, it's when a restaurant is everything you want and everything you need. And I know we all feel it right now too, you know, what it provides for you. And so with that, I want to raise a toast to Rita and Andre.
Cheers.
Happy Sweet 60th.
Thank you so much.
And it's so great. I'm going to steal this line from Danny Meyer, who said that they must be eating at the restaurant because everybody here who's been there before will recognize that fantastic background.
Yep, it's one of the murals from La Caravelle. It's the Place de la Victoire on Bastille Day. That's why so many, Nation. On Bastille Day. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. And thank you, everyone, for being here. It's like very special for us. It's huge. We feel very loved and supported, and we want to send this back to you.
Well, it's so great to be with you guys and so many memories. As you know, I've known Caravelle in 1974. I was coming in New York. I had no clue that I would be at Caravelle. Unbelievable. And it has been the first restaurant I walk in. One day after I landed in New York, first time in my life, some friend from me from the Ritz Hotel in Paris took me to Caravelle. It's amazing.
A good omen, I guess.
Voilà. That was a good start. Well, so
and that was the day after you arrived. That's amazing. It's crazy to think about, but because it's the 60th anniversary, I want to talk about how La Caravelle got started. And almost right from the beginning, it was like New York City's power dining room, right? In 1960, like it was the Kennedys' family dining room practically.
Yes.
You know, the Caravelle was the first restaurant that branched out from the pavilion. And actually,
seminal restaurant, like that was like the seminal New York City restaurant.
Exactly.
And actually, Fred and Robert didn't want to make a very, very 3- or 4-star restaurant. They wanted to make an upscale bistro, You know, you have to remember they were opening on the same street as the Pavillon with Henri Soulet, who was, you know, the great guy of restaurant. But they wanted to open very quietly. And Henri Soulet had a big problem with Joe Kennedy at the Pavillon.
Say why?
He badmouthed, you know, John Kennedy, that he would be never president or whatever, with the client there. And it came to his ear, and he was so upset when he knew that the captain and the chef were going to across Fifth Avenue. He went there and said, I will be there the first day. I'll make you up.
So with the Kennedy family there?
On the first day, Kennedy came to Caravelle, but you have to remember, the same year in November, John became president from September to November. So the restaurant took off, boom, like this, to a point that, you know, they have to change their menu right away and push the restaurant up because the clientele was the clientele of the Pavillon.
Yeah.
But it came overnight. And that's a beautiful story. Voilà.
That's amazing. So Joe Kennedy was like, no way, if you don't think my son can become president, I'm out of here.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and then, you know, after that, you know, Jackie Kennedy asked my predecessor to find the chef for the White House. And it was René Verdon. But before René Verdon, Roger and Fred were eyeing on the Jacques Pépin. First choice. Voilà. But Jacques Pépin had a contract with Howard Johnson. So he could
up already.
So
that was your big competition, Howard Johnson's?
And they asked
a little bit.
They asked René Verdon, who was working at the Essex House, to come. You know, so René Verdon came to La Caravelle a couple of weeks to know what kind of recipe or plate, you know, the Kennedy liked. I'll give you an example. You know, they had at the Pavillon, they had the famous Poulard, you know, sauce champagne.
And cream.
Yeah, no, the sauce champagne. So in Caravelle, it became, you know, Poulard Maison Blanche.
White House. White House chicken.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long? And so wait, Andre, I want to come back. So you walked in a day after you arrived in the United States, but that's not when you started working there, right? You became an owner in 1984?
Yeah. I came in 1974 for the Bristol in Paris. They sent me over there to work for them. And I came in 1984, you're right.
And that's when you became a part owner, that's when you took over?
I took over from Robert Mézin, and Roger Fesseguet was still there, so we were partners.
That's amazing. And Rita, and then in 1988, we had the great Rita Jamais step in and become a woman owner of a restaurant, which is fantastic. Rita, can you talk about that? Like what that was like and how much fun was it to work with your husband every day?
It was very interesting. And I think the result was pretty good. It's a challenging sometimes because when we got involved, there was the recession, and then there had been when Andre started, there was the first the ink wasn't dry on the contract yet. That there's a pen review from the New York Times. It was Marianne Boros.
Marianne Boros.
Yeah, and anyway, that was very challenging. And then in '88, you know, the restaurant had kept the same menu for years and years and years. And I'm going to go back and forth here, if you don't mind, a little flashback. In '84, Michael Romano, who's here with us, joined. Woo! And Michael had the toughest job of all the chefs. Everybody had a tough job, but he particularly, because he had to bring the menu from Escoffier time to 20th century. Mm-hmm. And that was just wonderful. We were perceived as we were called the dowager of restaurants, which, okay, there's a little respect in there, but it's also a little too dusty, like dust. So the challenge was to keep our identity and yet, you know, dust off, see what's going on in the rest of the world and kind of align with that without losing our personality. That was the greatest challenge. A very interesting challenge, I must say.
No, it's hard to shake up the industry, and it's hard to shake up Midtown Manhattan because it's so much, as it evolved from Le Pavillon, it still was very hardcore French and, you know, chicken Maison Blanche. But I think you guys did an extraordinary job of shaking up that fine dining through the chefs that you installed in your kitchen, from the great Michael Romano, also Tadashi Ono, Cyril Renaud, and Laurent Richard making pastries, and that it's so exciting. I know you're about to talk to them, but if you can talk a little bit about what that was like to sort of have an American chef and then to also have a Japanese chef who, you know, did some fantastically creative things. Did you get pushback from your customers?
Well, don't forget that, yes, Michael was the first non-French chef.
Yeah,
and
first
then
one.
Obviously Tadashi followed after non-French as well. But they both had a classical French culinary training. So that was the reason. And then they put in their own touches with the modern, you know, America for Michael, and also for Tadashi, those beloved Japanese touches, starting the fusion movement. At first, especially with Tadashi, because that's when I was more active in the restaurant, the first menu, you know, I listed everything, the ingredients, like da 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 da, and a lot of Japanese words. So our guests called me and they said, Rita, what is this? Where are we? Are we in kind of a Paris and New York, or are we in Tokyo? What is this? And I said, okay, let me ask you something. Do you like what you're enjoying, what's being served? He said, we love it. So I said, say no more. I went back and I just, you know, put a little poetic descriptions, and that was it.
Yeah.
Tadashi's magic was at work.
But it's amazing to see, like Danny was saying, the road, like you, Michael. I remember Michael. I met Michael in Paris, and he was, you know, his mentor was Tom Arantz, and he can talk about this, Michael, and he worked at the Bristol. It's amazing, and I have no clue that I was even in New York at that time.
It's a small world, indeed. Yeah.
And you see, that's like you say, it's a big family going back years back. Yeah.
Can I ask you, I know you're about to talk to the chefs, but I'm going to ask you one more question before you do. Is there a dish that stands out in your mind as one that is the most signature for La Caravelle?
It's a little bit like asking which of my kids is my favorite. I would say... Or
you can say three then. If you have 3 kids, you can say 3.
Thank you. Definitely the quenelle is on there. The soufflé. And
the duck.
The duck?
The duck was
I loved Tadashi sashimi.
Oh yeah.
The duck, yes,
yeah.
but Tadashi sashimi.
Or you can say 4.
Then Cyril, okay, thank you. Cyril had wonderful dishes as well. He had a fantastic salmon mango. It's called Délice de Saumon.
Oh, that's good.
Smoked salmon with mango and a creme fraiche with chives. To this day, we make it and we just love it to this day.
You make it. Does that mean you're going to reopen the restaurant?
Oh, no, thank you. I leave the worry to a lot of other people, but we'll support everyone.
I would love somebody to reopen the restaurant.
Ooh, all right. I'm going to let you talk to the chefs now, and then we'll be back to discuss that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Kate. So, Michael. Hi.
Well, you're the first.
Hi, Michael. It was, I think that when you came at Caravelle, it was more Andre who was involved because I was busy making babies.
No, we with Roger.
Roger, exactly. And as I was saying earlier, you had the toughest job to go from Escoffier, huge menu, right? The menu was so big, it wouldn't fit into 2 computers. And also a lot of things were served at the table.
Yeah,
not a lot, the majority of dishes.
Everything. Almost everything.
Everything was tray serviced.
Yeah, exactly.
When I left, by the time I left, it was about 50% plate, 50% tray.
Exactly.
But it was a struggle. But I'd like to go back to, Andre, you mentioned the most, well, kind of serendipitous and wonderful occurrence of my working at the Bristols when I first met you two. Mm-hmm. And that was just an amazing experience for me. But, you know, I was the lowest of the low. I was literally ending my day sweeping the sawdust on the floor. And the Bristol now is an incredibly modern kitchen, but at the time it was like the 1800s in that kitchen. And so that's when I met you, and then I came back to New York, and it was just the most amazing thing to get the job at La Caravelle. I know that you put in a good word for me with Roger Fessegay, and to find myself in that position was just mind-boggling. It was just everything I could hope for and everything I dreamt about, and to be the first American chef was a tremendous honor and a tremendous responsibility. And I think part of, Rita, what you were alluding to was the difficulty was, you know, Roger was the first chef there. And although he left the kitchen and became an owner, he never really left the kitchen.
He was on your back.
Right. And so he was very reluctant to move from the Escoffier into the more modern, and some of the things, you know, I mean, he would go out and eat, and I remember distinctly him coming back saying he had a rabbit paillard with pineapple mousse or something, and this crazy idea. And then, but when it came to La Caravelle, if I tried anything a little bit different, he was like, "Oh no, we can't do that with our numbers." So it was a great experience, and one of the things that of so many stories, so many things happening, was meeting, for example, the great Vladimir Horowitz, who used to come, you remember, and for him it was like they opened the Escoffier, because he didn't eat from the menu. He always liked Sol Veronique, you remember, and baked apple for dessert. And so we had to start peeling the grapes whenever he came. And I got to, probably thanks to you, you let me meet him. I got to shake his hand, which was the most amazing feeling for me, to shake the hand of the greatest pianist we have known. But so many wonderful experiences, but many of them center around with Roger Fessegay. When he was in the dining room, there was always something going to happen. And one night he came storming, we're in the middle of a busy service, and he comes storming down the kitchen, and he says, I don't know what he called me, Chef Romano or something, and he said, "How do you say woodchuck in English, in French?" Now, I was doubly stupefied, because here we are in the middle of a service, and he's coming at me with this incredible question. And then when I processed it, I thought, wait, he just asked me how to say an English word in French. How does that work? But he was very serious about it. I never knew why he asked me that, but it was one of those things. It was Roger Fessegay. But so many great memories, and it really brought me into being a chef in the top environment, in the top restaurant, in the toughest city, and really learning what it's like to lead a kitchen, and to, as you mentioned, Rita, there was a sort of a dusty reputation, and we were all trying very hard to bring it back. And so it was great work, and a lot of hard work, and very, very many fond memories.
You did a fantastic job, and we're so grateful. So grateful always. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to go to Tadashi now. We're going to travel to Tokyo, guys, because Tadashi is in Tokyo. It's now Tuesday for him.
Early.
It's Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. So Tadashi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here, though.
Of course. It was such a happening and eventful period when you were here, because of all the different cultures that were being meshed at La Caravelle. What was it for you? I realize I never asked the question before that way, but here we are.
Well, the first, if I think about it now, how idiot I was to become an executive chef of La Caravelle with such experience I had, and also being Japanese and everything. but I just try doing it. But when I start, I just realized, wow, everybody's so professional, experienced, such institution, and also the quality and everything that I have to keep it up every day, daily basis. That was really challenging, and such a pressure I have every day. It was so much a great experience that I had, and on a daily basis I have to keep it up. Everything that the workers, chefs, the dining room, like managers, all this, relation that I have, it just brought me up as a person so much better than I was before. So it was really great experience that I have,
Thank you. Well, Tadashi-san, you also brought the restaurant up, like your predecessors and future chefs. You all brought your own imprint, which made us go up by leaps and bounds and attract a brand new clientele in addition to the traditional clientele we had, which was very. It's a big plus. The only thing, it's very hard to do that without having two personalities, but you managed to blend all this together, and you had in your team some old timers who were doing some things that were very helpful as well. Some of the dishes.
Yeah, the experience that I had, and also the working hard and being like a professional is paying off. That's what the restaurant proved me in New York City.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, that was being Japanese or whatever, just as an individual, working with the people, with a heart, that pays off. That proved me your restaurant. So that get me going. Living in New York for a long time, I was there for like 35 years. Wow. So yeah, it's just that made me to stay in New York, and also. Just being a part of it was such a great experience that I could put into the resume. It was like, everybody was, wow, you were there, right? Oh, wow. That was great plus, great experience.
Yeah, and you were also one of the first ones to start the fusion movement. So that was a huge trend that is still going on today, actually.
Yeah, well, again, I was just wanted to, be as a chef and also be, a little bit of creative chef or whatever, right? I wanted to show what I know and what I can do.
Yeah.
But again, with that little touch that I did, but most selling item was canal, duck, and souffle. So it was, the quality of the duck is keeping quality of duck dishes, the canal. It's pretty hard, it's like, it has to be golden, crispy all the time. Quenelle has to be fluffy all the time. It's just that, the basic quality that I learned at La Caravelle as a classic French, that was golden. That was a great experience that I had, which I didn't have before. So I learned it a lot. And I could, that still has in my head that I can do it every day. Still, that's amazing.
That's why you keep coming back for the pop-ups. I love it.
It's one of the favorite dishes as a French food. Still, for my, in my opinion, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tadashi.
You're welcome.
Thank you for getting up early to pretend it's evening there.
It's okay. Yeah, it's bright here, but it's
good. Good
to get up this way, right?
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go to Laurent. Here you are, Laurent. Laurent was our pastry chef for a lot. Yes, here you are. Cheers.
Cheers, Laurent.
Laurent, I was always puzzled by something. How could you be an amazing pastry chef and be so skinny? And he loved fries too, French fries. That's something that always baffled me. No, seriously, Laurent did a fantastic job on the classics, and also he created his own dishes that became La Caravelle iconic desserts. My favorite was the peanut crunch. Peanut crunch, which whenever we can, we ask and beg, and we can like for the boy's birthday or something like that. But Laurent, tell us what it was like for you at La Caravelle, because you worked with several chefs.
Yes, La Caravelle was really a tremendous experience to me. I'm trying to find my words, but I was lucky enough to work with actually 7 different chefs during my time there. I started in 1989. I was a young kid, and then I left in 2001, so that's pretty much 12 years. And I always remember when I'm actually the way the whole venture started, when I met André Jamet. I met actually the former pastry chef, which was Francis Lorenzini at the time.
Oh, that's right.
And then I met him at a competition. We were doing a pastry competition, and I was amazed that this guy beat me at the competition with a souffle. He finished 2nd place in the competition. I finished 3rd, and I could never believe that this guy just make a souffle, and I lost. I lost to a guy who makes a souffle, and I didn't really know what a souffle was at the time. So, and I was intrigued to know what it was, and I met Francis, and we talked, and we clicked. And he said, "Well, that's great. Why don't you come visit me? I work at La Caravelle." And one day, I was passing by, and I came to La Caravelle and said, "Oh, I'm going to go say hi to Francis." And that's when I met André. And André told me, "Well, Francis is not with us anymore." And then he was kind enough to offer me a job, which I didn't have it at the time either. And that's what's everything clicked to that way. And it was a terrific experience. Even to this day, when people ask me, what was your parcours during your pastry years? And when I say La Caravelle, I always hear, wow, that's amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for everything you did, because you kept that quality and at the same time, the classic and continuity with the creativity, which was always, no matter how much of a big meal people had, they always had room for your desserts, always. So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And now we're going to travel very far to Cyril.
Very far, yes.
Very far. Cyril, who joined us when he was 29, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I was 25.
What?
At the time.
Oh boy, embarrassing. Okay.
No idea. You know, it's very funny. I was thinking about making notes for myself, and I was like, I was introduced to La Caravelle by a friend of mine that showed me a picture of a chef with 10 cases of Petrus under his arm in the kitchen. And I thought to myself, I think I can do that. I think that's going to be nice, right? And so that was one of the first, pictures that I got of La Caravelle. So that's also it came about. But I have to say, yes. I mean, for me, coming from David Bouley after 5 years with David Bouley, it was a culture shock. And I basically had to, stop and think, because it was going back in time, obviously, but also it was moving forward. So one of the things that I asked you, I don't know if you remember, but I asked for Roger to come back to the kitchen. And Roger was kind enough to drive with this Porsche from Florida to come and to teach me all the basic recipes of La Caravelle, because I haven't done that maybe for 10, 15 years. So I needed, or maybe less than that, but maybe 7, 8 years. I was still young. So it was very interesting for me and it was an amazing experience to have Roger coming back, teaching me the classic, showing me how things were done, talk to me about the history of La Caravelle. I mean, really get a really run up and then be able to construct from there. Obviously, I didn't necessarily do that right away, but it was a time it gives me an experience and a chance to do that properly after that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I remember how spontaneous you were. I'll never forget, I would come down and say, one day Bernard Loiseau was visiting. Do you remember? God rest him.
Yes, I remember when Bernard was coming.
And then I go to the kitchen and I say, Cyril, what are you going to cook tonight? He said, I have no idea. I was like, well, what do you mean you have no idea? Like panic right away. And he produced an incredible meal. And then, as all chefs do, Bernard Loiseau went down to the kitchen and shook everybody's hand. And that was just spectacular.
Yeah, I remember this used to drive the servers crazy for sure. that I didn't know what I was going to do.
They didn't know how to mark the table.
What do you say crazy?
Well, I mean, you know, Andre used to come, the other Andre, you know, the maitre d' Andre used to come down and we were just like, how can you, you know, not telling us what to do? We don't know how to mark the table. But it was more of an...
Yeah, I got a story about this because when you came in, the first menu, we had a menu, a tasting menu, and it was 5 or 8 or 9, and that was menu d'inspiration.
Oh, yes, I remember.
D'inspiration, menu d'inspiration. So the first time when they said, like Andre, he would go to you and say, Chef, well, we are serving the first, I don't know. I don't know.
That was one of the bad habits I had.
That?
Yes,
it was great, but we couldn't do that for too long, you know.
No, I had to learn from that moment for sure because I was getting some people very upset. The way, yes.
Fantastic, a lot of creativity that came in as well. So thank you so much, Cyril.
Of course.
We have a little surprise. We always, it's La Caravelle is a big family. We have Ivan Lemoine, who joined us as a CCAP student. And he just first started at the pastry with Laurent, and then he went to work in the savory with Cyril. We're running a little bit behind, but I did want Yvan to come and say hello because he has his own restaurant called Casa Nomad now. So it makes us so happy when one of our alumni goes on his own and flies from his own, you know, with all accomplishments. So that's very, very happy. Are you here, Ivan? Maybe he had to jump back into service. Okay. So anyway, Kate, how about?
Yeah, those were, that was so great. Now I really, you have to bring back La Caravelle, and all you chefs have to go back and get ready to do guest star appearances. So it's a good moment now to look at some of La Caravelle's favorite friends who have some toasts, and I will, not to spoiler alert, but Danny Meyer is not the only one who went on a great date at La Caravelle. So here are some people who want to say hi.
Hello, Rita. Hello, Andre. On the 60th anniversary of La Caravelle, I want to raise a glass and a toast to an extraordinary family success.
Happy anniversary, La Caravelle. 60 years. 60 years ago, they opened that incredible restaurant, La Caravelle, on 55th Street. It was an extraordinary place, beautiful dining room with the painting of Jean Pagès, and certainly the shrine of the high society of New York.
When I was writing about La Caravelle for the New York Times, I had a particular problem. And I ended up going by myself over and over again because I wanted to eavesdrop on other tables.
This is very special. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary of La Caravelle Restaurant with, of course, La Caravelle Champagne. I remember the first time when I went, I was on a date. The lady knew the entire menu, and she wanted the quenelle, and she wanted the duck, and whatever was all table side, it was amazing. She even went for the soufflé, the Harlequin soufflé, I think it was called, and we had a fantastic time.
Congratulations, Rita and Andre Jamais, to your 60th birthday. I remember La Caravelle on 55th Street. First time I arrived in New York at the Drake Hotel, I went there for dinner. And I met you guys, and it was an amazing experience.
It's a great pleasure to be here on the commemoration of the 60th anniversary of La Caravelle, one of my favorite all-time restaurants in New York City.
Congratulations, Rita and Andre, on the 60th anniversary of the opening of La Caravelle in New York City. I can only imagine what it was like to open a restaurant back then. I heard about the legendary La Caravelle when I moved to New York City in the late 80s.
I remember fondly my long lunches at La Caravelle. My final negotiation for my magazine, Martha Stewart Living, took place right at one of your beautifully set tables in the main dining room of Caravelle, where I ate the best food in New York City and drank the finest wines.
Thank you for being such a great neighbor.
Yes.
And also congratulations for having such an impact in New York City. As a lover of the finest things in life,
And it was a place that people went because they were just so happy to be there. And Rita and Andre made them feel happy to be there.
Congratulations on what would have been the 60th anniversary of La Caravelle Restaurant. A restaurant that I, as a young chef and restaurateur, would go to enjoy and learn what makes the restaurant great.
It was a real institution in New York, one of the most revered and famous restaurants and delicious restaurants in the city. It was always very, very special because of the service, the warmth of the service, the quality, the food, and also the restaurant itself, that was beautiful.
Happy, sweet 60 year, La Caravelle. We love you. I am so grateful of being your friend. We know each other for quite a long time, and it's such uplifting that it's been 60 years of La Caravelle.
Hi, Rita and Andre. Just a special wish from Paris for a happy 60th anniversary of La Caravelle. And we all aspire to the generosity and the warmth and the legendary status that La Caravelle evokes.
And of course, once you introduced La Caravelle Champagne in 1997, I toasted many special events with this delicious champagne.
I first visited in the 1990s when Tadashi Ono was the chef, and went back maybe a half dozen times, even reviewing it for the Times in 2002. And I was always struck by the gracious hospitality, the warm reception.
Hello Rita, hello Andre. We are very excited here at Restaurant Daniel to be celebrating the 60 years of La Caravelle with, of course, Champagne, La Caravelle Rosé. La Caravelle was this magical restaurant in New York City, really the quintessential French restaurant. Can we shoot that in the sky? For Rita and Andre and 60 years of La Caravelle. Bravo!
We want to say congrats to everything, and we really admire and we inspire us.
Congrats.
Time for some champagne.
We love you, we care for you, and congratulations. Happy birthday.
I would like to propose a toast to a great restaurant and a wonderful couple.
Happy birthday, La Caravelle. Je t'aime, Rita. Merci pour ton amitié.
Cheers to you, my friends.
And so for this, to the guardian angel of New York City chefs, to Rita Jamais, La Caravelle.
Cheers to 60 years anniversary of La Caravelle, to you Rita, to you Andre, and to your team.
So my dear friends, auguri e salute.
Cheers to you. Santé. Santé.
Here's to Rita and Andre, to 60 years of La Caravelle. They were great years.
To you, Rita and Andre Jamais, I'm drinking your bubbly. Happy anniversary. I'll drink to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christophe, who's been helping us tremendously behind the scenes here. Wasn't that fun, guys? It was like
that was so awesome.
And we have actually some of these special friends who are joining us tonight. We have Eric Asimov. We have, I think, Daniel Boulu, Ruth for sure. Am I forgetting Tanya? Anyway, wanted to thank everyone. This is so touching. I can never watch it enough times, and I'll bet you it's going to be on replay on and on and on and on. Thank you so much.
That was so awesome. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Andre. Cheers, Rita. I think that video makes you think that of all the wonderful, remarkable memories that that restaurants bring to you, and you have to remember that, keep telling stories about them, because that's how they stay alive. That's how you remember the greatness of La Caravelle. and so many other restaurants, but really like La Caravelle that lives so deeply in so many people's hearts. And I want to talk a little bit about why you decided to close the doors of a place that's so beloved by so many people. And then to move on from that though, because not many restaurants close their doors and then live on, and you guys do through Champagne, through your fantastic kids. So I would love to hear about that.
Sure. After 9/11, the society changed and people's dining preferences changed. And I think the way La Caravelle was conceived could only modernize up to a certain point. Past that, it would be an identity crisis, and it would no longer be what we were supposed to be. We couldn't change so much to adapt to the modern world at some point. But the beauty of it is, I mean, it was time to close.
And also the landlord was a big problem.
So we decided to do this on an uplifting note, and we were very lucky to be nominated the most outstanding restaurant by the James Beard Foundation. We were about to announce we're closing when we get this call from Melanie Young, who was then managing the Beard Awards, and who was on this call too. So she said, Rita, I have great news. You've been nominated for most outstanding restaurant. And I said, Melanie, please, it's not time to joke. We were so, sad because we were going to announce we're closing. She said, no. You cannot announce you're closing now. You have to wait. It was March. I was like, what, 2 months? Okay, so we did. We zipped it. And then just the fact of being nominated was the best way to get out, because it's the most prestigious award of the Beard Foundation. So it's a positive note. And yes, the champagne, which started at the restaurant in late 97, the bubbles have outlived the restaurant. How about that? But the name, it carried the name alive.
And will forever. It will forever. And your fantastic sons, and you raised your sons in your restaurant, basically, right?
Definitely. Actually, they are here, all three of them. So we're gonna maybe talk to each one of them. Who's ready? Christophe, Patrick, Nicolas?
I'll take the first shot because I'm.
Here we
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So, I think I've been thinking a lot about growing up with La Caravelle, and it really was the backdrop to our lives. And it's an amazing perspective to live with that as your basis of reality, right? Whether it was, I just have all these anecdotal little memories, right? Whether it was eating family meal that they would bring home, right? Arroz con pollo or whatever the chefs made it for dinner before service, whether it was helping Laurent line the souffle tins with sugar and butter, or peeling lychee. I hated peeling lychee so much. And
I'm with you.
But and every new chef that came along, it was a new era. It was a new shift in your reality, a new shift in the food you got to experience. And I think when we were young, we took it for granted. The food we had at our disposal and got to eat, and the experiences we got to have, the people we got to meet through them, the people they got to meet. It was really something that you only recognize after the fact, which is a little bittersweet, right? And the other thing that was really touching and profound to me is that there was a community that our parents built, right? Whenever we would go to the restaurant, people were happy to see them, and they were happy to see the people coming, and that never stopped after the restaurant closed. This community lived on because these memories weren't just ours. There were so many memories that people had at the restaurant, engagements, job reviews, apparently, like all sorts of things, right? I think it was just such a special place, and people went there for special moments. And so I feel very lucky to have been around it, living through it, being around it, meeting the people we met, eating the food we've eaten, and it's been really special. And I'm very, very, very proud and grateful for all the work my parents did. And I think it's a crazy thing to see. People don't really understand how hard it is to run a restaurant as a mom and pop, right? I mean, Monday morning, Andre went to the meat market before the meat market was like cool and hip and whatever, right? Then it was Fulton Fish Market. Then it was the flower market. At 5 a.m. every morning, he was somewhere. You know, and it just took an incredible amount of energy just to get everything going. And then you had to put on your best face every night and be genuinely happy to see people. And I don't think that's something that anyone could do. And so I definitely admire what my parents did, and everyone that came together to make it happen. And so that's my toast, is to our great parents and to everybody who made that community what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Christophe. And happy birthday, by the way. Today is Christophe's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have Patrick.
Yeah. So growing up with Le Caravelle, like Christophe said, it was something that was very special to us. And I think we realized it to a certain extent at the time. But every year that passes and the further away we get from it, I think it becomes even more special to us. Watching our parents run the restaurant like they did really had a profound effect on, I think, all three of us in a lot of ways. First off, the work ethic, right? Christophe talked about it. Watching our dad go to the flower market, the meat market, the fish market, all before we were even up for school in the morning, really showed that the hard work that they put in. And watching my mother kind of jump in and run the office, run the marketing PR side of things, attend events and represent the restaurant all over city, and still be able to make it home in time for dinner most nights was amazing. And it's something, as we look back now and we all have full-time jobs and you have a son, it's even more impressive. You know, the other notion that really stuck, and Christophe mentioned it, is the overwhelming spirit of hospitality. Each time a guest walked in, and you know, a few nights we worked not only in the kitchen, but we worked at the coat check, which is one of my fondest memories, was sizing people up, whoever didn't come in with the sport jacket. Just watching there and having a front row seat to watch people come in, and it was almost as if they had come home from like a long trip, and they were so happy to see my parents, and likewise, and it was such a genuine sense of hospitality. So that's one thing that we'll always take from them. And also, obviously, going in, you know, the restaurant was open 6 days a week. I remember going in on Sunday when everything was quiet, and me and my brothers would run downstairs and we go raid the petit four, whatever petit four left over. So sorry,
those macarons is so good.
Yes, yeah. So to this day, I think that and obviously all the menus over the time of Le Caravelle were definitely the genesis of our love for and appreciation for fine food. So it's been awesome having a front row seat at this journey of Le Caravelle and watching it continue with the champagne. It's something that's very special to us.
Love you. We have Nicolas also. Hi, Nicolas, who's about to become a dad any minute.
Any day now. Yes, hi. So good to see everyone here, and you know, really exciting to think back to Le Caravelle. And like Pat and Christophe said, so much of our childhood and our upbringing and our values and, you know, our relationship to food was born in that dining room. And funny enough, Pat, being my twin, took the two stories I was going to share, the exact same two stories. But, you know, I think back to being a kid, and I, you know, and now being an adult running a business in the food world, you know, I give my parents so much credit and admiration because the fact that they ran it together as a married couple, I, you know, give you a lot of props because I can't imagine how hard that was. You'd have to separate work and life when you got home, but you integrated your family into it so well. And, you know, I remember being, you know, as young as 5 or 6 years old, putting on our little suits and going and sitting in the booths, and customers would walk by and see these 3 little like toddlers sitting in a booth by themselves with no adults and be like, what's going on here? And we'd be ordering our pike quenelles and our soufflés, and you know, it was we thought it was normal, but I guess it wasn't. And very early on, our palates and just our relationship to food really developed. But more importantly, our sense of hospitality and community really developed at an early age. And we watched our parents, you know, build this community and, you know, this fine dining French restaurant that wasn't always around a certain dish, or, you know, it was about the feeling you got when you walked in, and more importantly, the feeling when you left, you know, saying, I'm going to come back to that. And so there's so many incredible memories. And, you know, even looking at my own business today, so much of what I learned around hospitality and the customer journey and how you want to make people feel, you know, even though from fine dining to fast food, so much of it, even if you wouldn't think, applies. And I often think back to the work ethic and the community, everything I learned from my parents. I mean, like my brother said, watching my dad get up every morning at 5, you know, I remember being so excited when he would let me come with him to the fish market or flower market. And it really gave us so many exciting memories and ones that we look back on today. So, you know, my one regret is that it closed right when we were of age to start bringing girls and really impressing them to Le Caravelle. we didn't get to take advantage of that, that part of our life. But it really, you know, gave us such an incredible understanding of hard work and food and community. So I'm really grateful to have grown up in that world.
Thank you so much, all three of you. This was beautiful, very touching, and we're so proud of you, and we love you. Kate, what should we do now? Other than drinking, that is.
I know. I think everyone should drink, and I think it's time to have a toast again and just say we love you, Rita and Andre, and we so appreciate everything you've done for us, for the city, for the world, really, to create a restaurant that brought so much happiness and comfort and everything to so many people everywhere.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for being here, for helping with the Independent Restaurant Coalition, because it breaks our heart to see what's happening with restaurants nowadays, and every little help we can do, we can provide, we'll do. So I want to thank everyone for that. And I want to thank everybody who helped with this, Kate, Blaine, Sarah, Nelcote, who was showing, Nelcote and Mike Colameko. Some of the segments that you saw from the video were from the videos they had made, each one of them, and we can have them available for you. We're going to post everything on the website. Yeah. I also wanted to say special thanks to Matt Reiser from Acker Merrill, who did a miracle job on making sure everybody got their bubbles on time, and everybody who greeted us in this beautiful video, Sarah Rosenberg, who helped tremendously. Et voilà, and all of you, we're so blessed. Thank you so much. If some of you want to hang out for a few more minutes, we're here. We're going to be here for about 20 more minutes if anybody wants to stay, like our after party.
Very good.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rita and Andre.
Thank you. And Danny, thank you so much for the gorgeous introduction. I mean, this was amazing.
Hello.
Everyone's unmuted.
Yay.
I was so grateful that you also sent a half bottle, because for those of us who are here alone.
I figured.
Hey, Michael Romano, show off your ice bucket situation, because that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it all ready.
I got JP Krillas.
Yes.
Cheers.
So many great faces.
Oh my God. Everywhere. Chicago, the Caribbean, everywhere. California, of course.
I'm sending good wishes from LA.
Yay.
Oh, wow.
Barbara. Ivan, are you still around? Oh, and Tali from Tel Aviv. Hello. This was really a world affair party.
I was hoping to get the champagne here, but I think it got lost in the mail.
I think so. But you know what? We'll catch up when you come back to New York. Don't worry.
We will, for sure. Love you.
And Mel Cox from temporarily.
Are you muted, Mel?
Yes. I mean,
wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to see you too. I think Ivan, you should, if you speak, we'll see you.
How do I see everybody?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Where
I
are
just,
you?
hopefully populates and I come up.
There you
go.
Hey. Oh, hi.
How are you?
Looks like you have a reservation at La Caravelle too.
Yeah. Dressed up for the occasion. Dressed up for you and the whole experience.
I'd like to say hello to Arlene and
yes, Arlene and Alain, who
Alain,
actually live in our building. Yeah.
Haven't seen you in so long. Good to see you.
Oh, everybody's muted. Let's see.
I know I unmuted everyone.
Okay.
Everyone can unmute themselves at this point.
Can I
John
just
is
say?
the only one who has the Caravelle dress code. That's amazing.
La caméra, elle est toujours pas là? I got it.
Rita and Andre, can you hear me?
Hey, Henry. Yes, Henry.
Hey, I just want to say from the other fan of yours in the building, your other neighbor, congratulations on capturing the spirit of what you've done for so many years. And thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Henry. Cheers. Thank you for joining us.
Mr. Andre and Rita Jamé, if I could actually just raise a toast and say congratulations. It's as, if I could just share a quick story. Like, I started at your restaurant when I was 15. Like, I was a kid. I was literally a kid, and I was a bratty kid, and I didn't know what to do with my life. And I was getting in trouble in school, and it was horrific. I just moved in from Venezuela. My family was French, but we never really had that connection. So to join your restaurant at 15 and have the privilege of working with Laurent Richard and Cyril Renaud. At the time, also, Tadashi Ono was running around because he was kind of on his way out. And I don't know if you ever read, like, the Down and Out in Paris and London, like, yes, that book and that story of walking into La Caravelle, where the dish pit is on fire and things are happening and soufflés are coming out and chefs are screaming, and, you know, the maitre d's coming down and screaming at the chef, and it's the chaos and beauty of it all will forever be ingrained in my mind as one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Like, to walk in there as a child and see the first, it's chaos. Walking into that kitchen, it's a beautiful thing. It's not, but it is chaos. But it's this beautiful chaos of seeing the soufflés coming out and seeing the servers scream at the chefs, and the chefs reply, but everything works in this beautiful dance.
Now we get the real side of the story.
Like, this is, I got to see the kitchen. I never dined in the restaurant. I just got to see the kitchen. Like, I just saw the front of the house as being this beautiful dance, and in the kitchen everything was what was happening. But also because I was a kid, and you had kids in the restaurant, and I had to see that you can actually have a New York City restaurant and have a family. So to that, in my mind, it's always played an important role in saying, you know what, we can have a family, you can still have love and working with your husband. I work with my wife now, and I never thought that would be possible. In the kitchen, in the restaurant, and it's been such a formative experience. I learned to cook from Cyril and Laurent, all the French classics, so thank you. You guys are here. It's, to this day, I can make a marquise au chocolat very well. I can make a saumonier very well.
So everybody, Ivan's restaurant is called Casa Nomad, and it's 1 block north of the Nomad Hotel. Is that it?
Yay!
Yeah.
On Broadway.
And so thank you for that experience. Hopefully one day we can recreate it, and maybe we can reopen La Caravelle, because I think people of today and kids of today and people just in cooking, the stuff that we learned there, they're classics. Somebody needs to carry that torch. So thank you. Amen. Congratulations to many, many more years. We love you. I love you.
I love you.
I love
too.
you all.
I love you too. Thank you so much. This is super fun.
You know, it's Andre and Rita. I just want to say that we think of restaurants as it should be. We think of them as places of hospitality where people gather to dine and receive hospitality. But what you have done here is to expand that beyond the walls of a restaurant and still create the hospitality that we are all feeling this evening. And that's such a beautiful thing. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You had a great part in it, in creating this hospitality, Michael.
Thanks.
As did Tadashi, Cyril, Laurent, Ivan, and all the team that was with us. We've been so blessed. We could never have done this, obviously, without you guys and the whole team. So thank you.
And it was so much fun that you never felt like you were going to work, actually. You were going to a place where you were going to have fun with other chefs, other co-workers. I never felt like I was going to work when I was going to Caravelle. It was really amazing.
Well, me neither. Like all the sculptures, like the chocolate sculptures, all the candy sculptures you would make, the desserts you would make were so awesome in that chocolate room. I'll never forget. You're so talented.
So from a client of Rita's, it's our pleasure to join you tonight. You had a beautiful time with us. We kept one of our bills. We sent it over to you, Rita.
Yes.
Okay, and I saved it for a very, very long time because I knew at some point I'd find the space to give it back to you. And I will say, I'll tell you one story. It was the most wonderful place to dine with the Hermes family.
Yes.
I was very privileged to dine there. The first round table, as you came down the hall, Jean-Louis Dumas Hermes' table.
Wow.
And when he came to New York to visit the office, he held me accountable for calling to the restaurant. And they would say, "Who are you?" "I'm calling for Jean-Louis Dumas Hermes."
Get ready. No, no.
And the answer came back was, "What time will he be here? We're waiting for him." So, to you both, it was a wonderful place.
Wonderful. Thank you. We have also, we love our memories together, Ken and Linda. We also have Arlene and Alain Sayak here, who actually are also in our building. There we go.
One floor below.
Yep.
I want to just say something about Roger Fezaguet. Roger Fezaguet came for 25 years, every graduation.
Yeah.
And he gives so many advice to our students. And that, I would like to say, I cannot say thank you to La Caravelle, but I say thank you to Roger Fezaguet.
Yeah.
Well said.
And he was,
Cheers.
He was unbelievable. He was very warm. Give very, 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 very nice advice to the student. I drink to Roger. And I drink to Caravelle.
Yeah, he was an amazing guy.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm so happy to be a part of this, and I just much love to you. And what a wonderful celebration. So
thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, no, cheers. Cheers to all of you.
I'm the only one that's almost done with this bottle.
We're done here.
That's what happened.
No, you're not. That's why my bottle's off camera, so that no one sees.
Yeah.
Michael said about the demi, about the half. I'm like, I opened the big one, but I'm just over it. I didn't know it was going to happen. I don't know how long we're here. But cheers. It's delicious. Thank you.
Cheers to you.
Well, on one bottle myself. Salud. Congratulations. A wonderful, blessed whole symphony of chaos that you ran, and it was a beautiful experience. For all of us in hospitality, all of our lives, it's a testament to your wonderfulness. Thank you.
Marla. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Andre, Rita?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I?
Please, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So, Andre, Rita, here's to you.
Marsha, here's to you.
I know them from a very different place.
Very long time.
In that myself and my law partner, who are immigration lawyers, worked with them on their immigrating to the U.S. and other people in the restaurant.
Amen.
And I would just like to say how lucky we are that they decided to make their lives in the U.S. Because wherever they would have gone, they would have been successful. But how lucky we are that they chose to make their life here in America, and how much they have contributed to New York City, to America, to a whole industry, then went on to raise a beautiful family that are doing likewise. And I know you for so many years, and it's such an honor to know such successful and totally gracious people, and being at the restaurant was incredible. And I joined the chorus in saying, let's reopen it. That sounds good.
Oh, you guys are putting pressure on us. But thank you, Marsha. Thank you, because without you, we wouldn't be here, I guess.
I'm just glad you made the life here.
Literally.
Salud. Cheers.
Oh, amen.
So Cyril is saying we have to share the salmon mango recipe. Yes.
Yes.
Right? Yep, definitely.
The canal recipe.
How are you celebrating how are you celebrating after all of this, the Sweet 60 and Christophe's birthday?
Yeah, we're going to Christophe's house. As you saw, Patrick and Cara are there, and we're gonna have a lovely dinner from Loring Place. And we got also a beautiful cake as a gift from.
Oh, show it. Will you show it?
The cake?
Sure. Yeah, you have to show it. It's gorgeous.
Try not to spill it on the Mac.
Vitamix, way to go.
I know. So Elia said, you need a little something to celebrate. Where her little
Elia's the best. Oh my gosh.
She's the best. She's just
the best.
So thoughtful. Our hospitality, that's hospitality for you. You know, it's just very, very special. I think maybe we should light up a little more. Va allumer la lumière là. Are you ready to view the cake?
Yeah.
Princess cake.
Yes.
Aww. That's so beautiful.
Nice. Cake and flowers. And we got like these beautiful wavy. If we really show you the top, there'll be no more cake. But or our Mac will be eating the cake.
Yeah, will you tell everyone the significance of September 21st beyond the 60th anniversary and Christophe's birthday? There's so much insane.
There's a lot in our family. That seems to be like a pivotal date. My dad also passed away on September 21st, and Christophe was the 7th grandchild born 7 years later after. My dad's lucky number was 7. And at the hour where he was born, that's the hour when my dad passed away. This is like so confounding. So it's beautiful. I look at it as a positive, passing the baton kind of thing. So yeah, it's beautiful, very touching.
Yeah. So maybe the second grandchild will be born tonight, yeah?
Maybe. Nicolas and Holly's baby, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Any day now. In fact, I was worried that Nicolas wasn't going to be able to come and be because, the birth was going to happen, but maybe it'll happen tonight still. Who knows? The night is young.
In the middle of dinner? Is there a follow-up Zoom for that? Like, just like at the after party. That's like.
No, but we'll be posting. That's for sure. We'll be sharing the joy with everybody. But I can't tell you how touched we are by all of you and the time you spent and your support in your own way. And Oscar.
No, it's okay.
Jamie, how come you never put out the Caravelle cookbook?
Yeah, it's so much work.
It is.
Maybe one day. We sure have the material.
Les mémoires.
We're all here to help. We're all here to contribute.
Yay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. I think it would be very beautiful. The recipes would be memorable, and the stories and anecdotes.
Ditto, Yvonne. Ditto. Exactly true.
It's so
and
beautiful.
Also, maybe you come out with more wine, so you do some more like.
Okay. Yeah. That's another very distinct possibility. Less pressure than reopening a restaurant, for sure.
What you can do.
I think.
When we come out of this pandemic.
I think the cookbook should be one that sits in the living room. A big one.
Yes, a lifestyle book.
A big book. Okay, so everybody has to touch it and look at it and hear the stories and read.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right next to the Hermes brochure, right?
Oh,
the Hermes.
absolutely.
That's up to you, Rita.
Oh, you know.
Is Azuline on the Zoom call? Just get Azuline to produce one big, beautiful lifestyle book.
Oh, Azuline. Okay.
Rita.
Talking serious here. That's a great idea.
It would be beautiful.
Or Rizzoli.
Rita.
Or Rizzoli too.
Yeah, or Rizzoli also. Rizzoli would be beautiful.
Well, we sure have enough contributors to the book, that's for sure. We have materials, just somebody has to put it together.
So much material.
So thank you for the strong suggestion.
Okay.
You definitely have a book, and then we'll have a pop-up.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, Herb. Let's do the pop-up.
I said,
I know, Herb.
I actually didn't know there wasn't a book. So that's
Yeah, they
interesting.
should be.
How could there not be a book when everybody
Exactly.
read a book?
Exactly. That's what I say.
Okay,
has to be a
where's
book.
the magic wand so I can like make it happen.
Jeannie has some words to say. Jeannie?
Hi, Guy, Rita, and Andre.
Hi.
Unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough to know you at the restaurant, but I'm very blessed to say that I knew you afterwards. And what you give to our hospitality industry, the both of you, is, I can't even say it in words. Rita, you've been a mentor since I've met you, and I'm so grateful to know you. And your husband and your kids are amazing, just like you are. And I can't thank you enough for being a part of my life, really. Thank you.
So much. And we wouldn't be where we are without all of you and your support. The reality is.
Cheers.
Cheers to beautiful.
Thanks. Cheers.
So positive, which we all need positive right now, right? Fill the tank, not only with champagne, but with positivity and kindness.
Hey, Blaine and Rita and Andre, I have a question. Hi, it's Christina.
Yeah. Hi, Christina.
I was curious, when you got to New York, what restaurant you guys went to for your dates?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Dig in that memory.
That's a good question. Yeah.
No, but when we first came, that was Caravelle.
No, when we first came. Okay, and then there were other restaurants in the city.
Know.
Yeah, how did you meet? That's a great story.
Yeah. Please do tell.
PDT, okay. Andre, I'm under pressure. We went a lot to Lutèce. Andre Soltner.
Yeah. So we used to go to Lutèce.
And then when Danielle opened.
Yeah, a lot of those are closed actually. Many of them. No, but many of them.
Lutèce, yes, but.
La Côte Basque.
La Côte Basque, hello,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, Côte Basque.
Thank you.
And all those restaurants downtown, that's where, when we
started? No, not when we arrived.
No, but it started there,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, le Veau d'Or, which was quite... which is going to reopen.
I remember the Veau d'Or when it was
it's reopening
number one
soon.
bistro in New York. The Veau d'Or.
Still exists.
When is the Veau d'Or opening? It's for Czech people, right?
Yes. Riyadh Nasser. Previously, it was before COVID. It was supposed to be in the fall, but I don't know. Soon, I hope.
I'm very excited for that reopening.
Yes, me too.
It's a classic, but it needed a little bit of a revamp.
They're going to reopen within a month, so.
What?
Yeah.
Le Veau d'Or?
Yeah.
Really? They're opening in a month?
I think they're in construction now.
Oh.
Yeah.
We still have a little ways to go, I think.
C'est le restaurant downtown.
Frenchette.
Yeah.
Frenchette.
Voilà. Cyril and Laurent are chuckling and laughing.
Did you guys see there's a suggestion to do this every year? And I say yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In person.
Yes. For sure.
And next time it will be in person.
Let's put it this way. If you come, we'll do it. We'll come, we'll do it. Okay?
What's at the Shore Motel now?
Downtown, and they need to be downtown.
Nothing. Nada.
Yeah.
That's
So sad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But c'est la vie, you know?
Yeah.
C'est la vie,
It's so beautiful to see the mural behind you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate to be able. It's like a morale uplifting thing, you know. And
lovely.
Yeah, it's actually one of the murals is also in one of the Sweet Greens, aptly on 55th Street between Madison and Park. There's a mural also.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go check it out.
Yes, yeah, it's Des Jardins du Luxembourg. It's a beautiful.
Caravelle was on 55th
gardens.
Street.
Yeah,
that's why.
Right.
Yeah, homage.
It's so amazing how one painting can kind of bring you back.
Right.
Yeah. Explains so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I really look forward to the book.
Yes.
Mel Cox. But in the meantime, we do have the video that I made.
Yeah.
Roger Fesseguet was the star of it, of course, because he was the chef then.
Yeah.
And it came about because I wanted to film a chef in a restaurant. And I interviewed several people, Pavillon, La Grenouille, and I called Craig Claiborne, who was at that time the food critic for the New York Times, and I said, who should I pick? And he said, oh, no doubt, it's got to be Craig Claiborne. It's got to be Roger Fesseguet at La Caravelle. So that's how I ended up there.
It's a fantastic film. It's called French Lunch. If you permit me, I would love to post it, like a link to it on our website, and I think soon I'm gonna have a YouTube channel. So if you agree, we'll put it in there so more people can see it.
Yeah,
it's the French
You
lunch.
really capture the energy and the the
days.
chaos kind of.
Yeah, the chaos.
Well, very
of those
directed,
days. Yeah,
very
yeah.
like regimented chaos, but it's the pressure is right there.
The idea in those days was just to go in and turn on the camera and shoot whatever happened. Never tell anybody to do anything, you know.
Exactly. And thank you so much for doing that, because these are like living memories that we can actually watch and be transported back there.
Yeah.
There was also the other film that from Mike Colameco, The Last Night at Caravelle, which we can also post on, yes, because he was
Walter Cronkite. I know you have to show the Walter Cronkite thing, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Walter Cronkite, after his dinner, he said, and that's the way it is, which is the way he closed up all his broadcasts.
That's what he did, yeah.
But that was also, I love these movies because you have the real, like you're in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's real. Yeah.
Including Thomas Jefferson bringing.
What about any of the sommeliers? Oh. Hey, Charles. Yeah, okay, so our first sommelier was a young lady by the name of Susan, and she now owns a restaurant with her husband in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. So we bumped into her by pure chance, but she was our first sommelier. And it was interesting because when she went to the tables, people would say, well, please call the sommelier. And she said, well, I am the sommelier. So it took a little bit of steering. And then our last sommelier was a wonderful gentleman. Actually, I tried to reach him, but I wasn't able to. Andrew Brisker. He also built a beautiful wine list with a lot of depth and verticals. But we, unfortunately, when we were closing, we needed money to pay because we paid all our vendors. And refreshing, right? And then we sold the cellar to be able to pay everyone. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful wine list, beautiful cellar. So this is like our family, you know, everybody is like our family, and it's just wonderful to be able to remember all these great moments and great accomplishments with them. Yeah. So Charles, I hope I answered your question. We have to go to our son's birthday. Thank you. So we're gonna, but if you guys want to hang out, you're more than welcome to.
Cheers. Oh no, you guys make a party. Cheers. Eric, cheers once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And see you soon, okay?
See you soon.
Lunch soon.
Yes.
Lunch soon.
For dinner.
We've been planning lunch this whole quarantine. I'm gonna text her this week so that we can actually have lunch.
Yes. Okay. Excellent initiative.
It's okay. You have to click that too.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And Kirsten and Julia and everybody, Jeannie and Nicole de Villaine, Paula, Meryl, everybody.
You are a real trooper.
Jennifer. Merci beaucoup, Nicole.
You are a real trooper.
Thank you so much. Thank you.